Hello and welcome to episode 6 of our Timberborn Apocalypse Mode playthrough here in Update 6 with the Iron Teeth faction, Cycle 5, Day 2. I don't know how we did it. I really don't. But we survived, somehow, to this point, with a grand total of 20 beavers. Wow. So, the problem we have now is it's Day 2. We could very well have a drought or a bad tide, which we have not had yet, start as soon as 7 days from now, 7.5 days from now. We got 95 water. We do have some food. The food is actually looking pretty good, but boy, do we have our work cut out for us, folks. Let's go right into it. We've got science. I'm going to unlock floodgates. You guys seem to be very, very, very interested in having me do floodgates. And, you know, for good reason. Because floodgates, like you guys point out in the comments, can be, well, not infinitely adjustable, but they can be very, very adjustable. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to construct floodgates here in, you know, in bits and pieces, because it's going to take a little bit of time to get this built, because we only have 20 beavers. Keep that in mind, folks. I can't do everything all at once. We have 20 beavers. There seems to be a whole lot of discussion, shall we say, in the comments on, oh, this is flooded, of course. Let's pause. If I can find the P key without looking at the keyboard. There we go. A whole lot of rather spirited discussion in the comments about what I should or should not prioritize, and what everybody seems to miss is that we only have so many beavers. I cannot do everything all at once. So I do always appreciate the comments, but you guys have to understand, I'm not going to send, if I've got 20 beavers and I don't have any water, I'm not going to take them out of the pumps to come and build dams up here. That's bad. That's not a smart idea. So, like, you got to understand that we have priorities we have to take care of. If we want to survive, we need them in the farms. We need them in the pumps. We need them processing food so they can eat. Everything else, and I mean everything else, is completely secondary to that. So, knowing that, moving forward, especially if this is going to be a bad tide, it matters so much more that we have access to food. And since we don't have any irrigation barriers yet, or any way to really, you know, irrigate period point blank with the exception of the fluid dump, we don't have explosives yet. So we don't have the ability to make the little irrigation stations. We can, and probably should, come up here and build in levees, dams, whatever have you, and then put a water dump here, and then we can grow some crops up here. But, again, we have 20 beavers. We cannot spare any beavers to do anything else except what they're already doing. And honestly, this forester probably shouldn't even be, you know, made to replant all these. Probably shouldn't be, but, you know, it is what it is. That's where we are. We need to have some sort of, you know, easily sustainable way of doing mangrove fruits. So that's what we're doing. Our forester also needs to be planting some more blueberries. Like we'd said before, this little splash irrigation thing only reaches to about here, so that's what I replanted. I've got these guys doing all this mess. I suppose you could make an argument for that. But, you know, it's it's one of those things, folks. You can't do everything at once, so you have to decide exactly what it is that you're going to focus on. And right now, we got to grow food. We got to grow it. We got to harvest it. We got to make sure everything is as prepared and ready as it can be. And it's not going to be an easy thing to take care of. We just have to do it. So we got this floodgate being constructed. As soon as this one's finished, I will do the other ones. Well, actually, you know what? No, I can do 2 at once, because I don't have to be able to go in between everything. But yeah, these are going to be a whole lot better than just having the dams in place, because we're going to be able to store so much water. Thankfully, up here we do have this whole thing all taken care of, and it's going to store a pretty sizable quantity of water. Actually, you know what? No, we got to pause this, because now the water's back there. This gets all of our beavers concentrated down into this main area. That was something people brought up. It was like, don't run this during a temperate season because it's just too far to go. Eventually it should be, if we last that long, eventually it should be its own district, but for right now, we do not have the ability to do that. Okay, well, why don't you start planting crops up here? Because as soon as this becomes a bad tide, it's completely pointless. Remember, our temperate seasons can be as short as 7 days. That's barely enough time to grow anything if this is already dry at the start. So I'm not going to worry about planting anything up here until it becomes a thing where we can actually reasonably achieve something. Remember, we have 20 beavers. It's not going to be a quick thing to get done. It just isn't. All right, so now... Oh, they can also build from the bottom. I did forget about that. That's going to help us store... I think somebody in the comments said, what, 30% more water possibly? So that's going to be great. If we have a drought coming in, then yes, we can maybe make some efforts toward storing a little bit more water in here. But keep in mind, this water source right here is 0.75 strength. These guys over here are a lot more. They're like 1 or 2 each. Actually, let's find out. Go into dev mode real quick just to show you. Yeah, these are 2. That's 2. That's 2. That's 2. Out of dev mode. There's 6. Well, that's... I don't know what unit you want to call it, but 6 water strength coming out of all this into this area versus 0.75. So yes, this will fill up probably before the end of this temperate season. This will fill up to an appreciable amount that we can actually really, really, really use, and it'll be a great thing for us. But we really, if we're going to be, you know, relying on storing a whole bunch of water, and it's not going to be a bad tide, we really need to be doing it back here, because this is just going to have so much more. So much more. So, while I wish we could start building these big giga dams, or whatever it is you want to call it, we, again, 20 beavers, we don't have the resources for it. We are in absolute, like, crisis management, like, eternally mode. That is just how it works, folks. If we got to the point where we were able to have, you know, more beavers, because remember, every beaver we have to feed, and we have to have water so they don't die of thirst. Rushing beaver population in this scenario will not result in anything but failure, unless we have the infrastructure to keep it in place. So yes, that is why I have currently 7 of my 20 beavers pumping water, because we absolutely have to have as much water as physically possible. There's no other way around it. We have some water right there. We really should be building additional medium tanks, so I will go ahead and put another one here, because we do have those 20 gears. But I again, really, really, really wanted to make sure that these floodgates were put in place, because that's going to help us have a lot of water. Another thing we can do, we can create a little lake here with levees, and then later on another floodgate, so that we can have additional emergency pools. In fact, this, since we have the time, should also be replaced with a levee and a floodgate. Now, do we have enough material currently in the way of planks to do all this? Yeah, not really. But it's going to be worth it to have these watering hole things ready to go, because if we can keep this at least slightly set up to irrigate some of this, then we can plant a whole lot more berry bushes. In fact, we probably should just go ahead and say, you know what? Plant all the berry bushes you can plant. It's probably going to be a whole lot easier than these mangrove trees. But if we can get mangrove trees planted in here, which, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say we might as well only focus on doing that. Just not even worry about these guys. Just plant these mangrove trees if you're Mr. Forester. Because if we can keep this at least free of bad water, even if they do start drying out a little bit, we will be able to continuously get the fruits, even if it's slow. Every little bit counts. That is where we are. Day 3 going into day 4. So again, I know it's got to be frustrating to think you have an idea that's going to be like the perfect solution to everything and then see me not do it. I can't do everything. Hey, please feel free. Do this yourself and let us know how it goes. Genuinely. I am sincerely interested in seeing how people fare with this. Because it's supposed to be super, 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 super hard. I really don't think we're going to make it past cycle 5. Because we haven't had a bad tide yet, and the droughts are only going to get longer. So, again, if you do, please let me know how it goes. It's gonna be... Oh, it's gonna be something, folks. Gonna be something. So, we do have cassava growing in that can be harvested. We really, really got to make sure these guys start planting additional stuff. So let's speed this up a little bit. Alright, didn't get the drought warning, which does mean it's going to be at least 7 days. 8 days of temperate cycle. So that's good to see. I really hope we get a nice long one because boy do we need it. Boy do we need it. This floodgate's finished, which is good news. So now they can focus on building all the rest of this garbage. See what we can get taken care of. Oh, we had beavers die of old age. Alright. Well, it's time to release 2 from the strategic reserve. Remember, we have this thing set up for just such an occasion. And I am going to keep these beavers brewing here. Even though we only have a limited quantity of berries. We need to keep them going because, you know, the beavers don't live forever. It's not a guarantee. Oh, hey, we're flooding here. Let's, it's down to 0.85. That should probably help a little bit. 'Cause if our buildings start flooding to where we can't use them, then that's going to be a problem. Well, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. We just have to make sure that we can and do keep this stopped up appropriately. Just got to figure out the little outflow bits and pieces here. So once this is all ready to go, then first of all they have to get the mangroves planted, but the blueberries are a lot more important. And yes, when we have a bad tide come through here, they probably are going to, well, not all of them, but a pretty decent portion of them are going to be, can't even use words. They're going to be destroyed by the bad water. So that's about the size of what we're working with here. 17 adults now. As soon as we got our forester planting these things, then I can put this in with a floodgate. But I think this one is a little bit more important to get that taken care of. Planks we do not have, so it's time to get that going again. Do 1 beaver there, 2 beavers there. The gears we had did go into the construction of this medium tank. Our storage for water isn't currently full, so I am going to prioritize this floodgate. Hopefully that ends up being fine. How's our... Oh, good. So this is full. Very nice. I realize this could be replaced with a floodgate, but I'm currently pathing across it. So that is not something we're going to be worried about. This is going to fill up slowly, kind of, and make its way through here. We did originally want to have this dammed up as well, but I think for now, well, I really, honestly, probably should just make this a whole bunch of floodgates, but, you know, I think it's probably fine just to build this up one piece at a time, Johnny Cash style. There we go, we're finally planting mangroves here. Berries probably should have gotten planted first, but you know, it is what it is. These are also in emergency release mode here, just ready to get activated when we need them. We are going to pause this set of breeding pods as well when that goes in there. How are we doing on planks? Okay, still haven't made any there. That's getting taken care of. We don't have a lot of wood. We do have wood available to us. We don't have a lot of it right now. Working on it, working on it. Get these things planted, because it's not going to let me do it. I got something here anyway. That's going to be fine. I just need more, I need more beavers, but I can't focus on only making more beavers, you know? You feel me? The good news is, this is a lot more water than you think it is, And we do have pumps up top, and we have pumps down in the holes here once that gets drained down. So we're not going to be in ultra crisis panic mode for water that quickly. But I do need to have another farmhouse here set to planting to help out the guys who are set for harvesting, or we're not going to get the most out of our cassavas. And yes, I know I've said, 3 episodes in a row now that we need to use our metal. Well, it's not going to matter. We can always do this during the dry season or the bad tide season, whatever it ends up being. But it's not going to matter if they're dead, they don't have anything to drink, don't have anything to eat. So again, the pumping is just unfathomably important for us to be taken care of. And we do still have the tiny little emergency water here to keep the beavers alive for a couple of days, should the need arise. Nobody is hauling because I don't have enough beavers to do hauling. Nobody's building either. Okay, well that's not what that's supposed to be. Okay, so I don't need any more planks for this. I do need planks for this. But our storage isn't completely full yet, so I guess that's probably fine. How many do I need? I need 8. Sheesh, I need 18 of these. Alright, so if I take 1 beaver out of here and then make this... No, that's not going to work either. Huh. See, what can I pause? So this, again, this is the problem. Before you say just don't take everybody out of the pumps. No, 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 no. We are pumping. We are pumping. We are absolutely pumping. I'm going to choose to pause the forester instead. There we go. Now we got 1 beaver, 2 beavers in the district center that can work as builders. Well, the fact that we haven't had the drought or bad tide warning yet on day 6 is pretty comforting. But again, we got to be able to harvest the stuff. All right, so these guys are just about finished. We'll go ahead and let those get basically all the way to the end. Hopefully I don't forget, because you know how that goes. Always ends up being some sort of mess. All right, pause those 2. These are growing as well. We'll let those do what they got to do. This is taken care of. This one is in the process of being built. And then this only needs 12 more planks. Still working on that. How long do these berry bushes have? Oh, yikes. Okay, we're at 34%. Okay. This is why I keep pausing these, and I really hope they don't have to start eating the berries, because that's just going to be a huge, huge problem. But we are harvesting the raw cassavas, and we are planting more to replace them. Oh, man, I wish I had the metal to do the food factory. That corn is a ×5 modifier for every single one that we pull out of the ground, and then, you know, in each tile we grow 2. So 1 tile in 10 days gives us 10 food, versus cassavas, 1 tile in 10 days gives us, well, 2 raw out of the ground, and then ×2.5. So, you know, it's still pretty good, but it's half. It's half as much. Yeah, see, we're still only at about 60% of our water capacity filled up, and we need more capacity too. So it's not like we're doing that great about it. Remember, 10 beavers for 10 days. We have 20 beavers. 10 beavers for 10 days require 266 water. So 20 beavers for 10 days requires over 500. And we currently have less than 1,000. So the 20 beavers right now, at any given moment, can only survive another 20 days with the water that we pumped. We do still have more to pump, and I'm very glad to not see that drought warning, because that would have been catastrophic to get that quickly. And since this is paused, we are going to have enough planks in place to build another floodgate there, but I'm not going to rush that quite yet. So that's 5 of those. Yeah, if we can get this levee put in, then that's going to start backing this area up. I mean, not a ton. And yes, this is draining faster than this can fill it up. And we can't get to this yet because I don't have the planks to build a staircase like we were going to over here. But come on. Oh, of course, that's log storage up there. We're going to have to put stairs here if we're going to have this one block put in place to hopefully stop all of our draining from occurring. Right now, this is going to just cause that to be a thing. So, I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to pause this, and you might say, why did you pause that? Why did you pause that? Well, friends, remember, we have 63 logs, and this area here is producing so much more water. So, it's going to be very much more important for us to dam this area up. Now, are we going to have that done before we have another drought or a bad tide? Yeah, probably not. But we really need to be doing something about it. So, what I think is going to happen is we're going to have to put in a platform here. I know we don't have a whole lot of whatever, but platform here. We've got trees that can be cut down. We've got all sorts of stuff over here. And I think the best thing we can do right now, aside from, you know, just coming up here and damming up here, is we want to create something where the bad water, if we get a bad tide, can be diverted before it gets down into our main farm area. Move the farm up here. Well, no, because, again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, if we get a... if this is a bad tide coming up, folks, we're going to be in some deep, deep stuff. So I guess we really do have to make a choice on if we're going to start building our diversion, that's not even a word, diversion thing up here. 'Cause I think this, honestly, the way this is set up, this might do more damage than this getting bad watered would possibly do. Because at the end of the day, we do still have fresh water here, and it's going to kill some crops, but it's not going to kill all of them. Just going to put us in some really, really uncomfortable positions here. Alright, so we have 18 adults, 2 kids. I am going to get 2 more beavers popped out here. Always want to make sure we keep some in reserve. But we do need to increase the population. We just can't rush the population. Unless you want me to just fail in episode 5 and then nobody's happy. So we will let that be a thing. We have 18 adults, which is helpful. But we really do need at least a few more. I am very interested to see what happens on the morning of day 8, if we get a warning or not. If we get a bad tide warning, it might be time to make some difficult choices up here. I think we're gonna have to figure something out, because all of this water is going to be basically unusable, poisoned at that point. We'll see. Okay, so this is basically done. Let's get through the rest of today. Let them do what they got to do. We have 1,000 water, which is nice, you know. Good amount to have. But we need more. We need so much more. All right, mercifully, we don't have a warning yet. Okay, so we can take this back out. Just another 300 storage. Now we have a total of 1740. Good to see. Good to see. Now we're no longer in extreme panic mode. We're still kind of in panic mode, but I'm going to take 2 beavers off of the pumping, which is going to allow us to have, I think, that 3rd farmhouse open is going to be the most important allocation of beavers there. We do have this platform that's starting to get made. And we just need to start building levees on our big old dam here. Remember that this is going to be our best shot at diverting without having to go all the way up here. Now, this is a better place to divert water, but it takes so long to get over there that it's really not going to be helpful. So instead, we have to kind of do a little bit of fiddling here. So I'm going to go there, and then I guess we could just do 4 across like that, and then go like that. It's gonna be a little funky, you know? It's not gonna be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your entire life. but it's going to be something. It's going to be something. Get that put in there to get those trees out of the way. We really just need to make sure that we're making some sort of progress here on that kind of a thing. Still pumping water. Still doing food. Now we're going to have somebody start processing the food. And I really do still need to put this floodgate in here, at the very least. This is ready to go, thankfully. That's fine. And I also need to make a provision for another fluid dump, which I guess probably should go right there, since there's no tree there. Just make sure that this is not going to be a whole thing. This playthrough is an exercise simultaneously in patience and impatience, if that makes sense, if I pronounced clearly enough. Because you don't want to rush something and make a bad choice just because you're desperate to get something accomplished, but you also need to have a sense of urgency. And again, it's one of those things that is just not going to be a fast process. You got to be able to do what you can do. And I think I'm going to have to... man, I'm using so many planks just building staircases to get into different spots. It's not like the best thing ever, but I do need to be able to get up here. And then up there at some point eventually as well. But basically, I'm going to have a levee high enough to match this, because that's, until I have explosives, which we're nowhere close to, I'm not going to be able to do anything about that height. I also need to plan for a floodgate to come through here, which means I really should have researched the triple floodgate. But for now, well, it doesn't matter because we haven't even started building all of this yet. We'll get there when we get there. We'll see what we can get accomplished. Right now, we need to shift gears a little bit more toward the food. Again, which is why I got some of these other beavers popped out here. I think I'm going to let these two get born as well. Hopefully that's going to help out a little bit. Because we do, again, need more laborers, but we can't afford to do complete nonsense. You feel me? Alright. So, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I can go ahead and plant the rest of these trees. Get this forester going here. Let these guys build what they're going to build. And man, I hate to take anybody else out of pumping because, again, water is just so incredibly important. But we have to, absolutely have to start fermenting. Just completely unavoidable. And I need to have the planks for this. I need to have so much, man. I need to have so much. So this should be next. I'm assuming they're coming up here to grab logs, which is a whole thing of why are these even stored up here in the first place? Well, because we thought we were going to have something up here. All sorts of fun. All sorts of fun. Please flame me in the comments as much as you like after you have attempted this and have figured out what it is that you're actually going to be able to accomplish here. Let's prioritize this lumberjack flag so we can get some more wood cut down. They are starting to bring in for this levee, which, again, we do need to have, and that's completely fine. But we gotta make some kind of difficult choices here. So, speed through the end of the night. How close are these? Very, very close. We have our 2 emergency beavers there. That's going to be fine, but... oh, man. I feel like this is going to have to be the last 2 beavers. Okay, there it is. Drought warning. Not a bad tide. So a little bit of a relief there. But basically, we're going to have 12 days. The max was 14, so that's fine. But we've got 3 more days to get a... well, to get an anything popped in here. Did they bear these beavers yet? Not quite. All right. So, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's going to be a drought, I'm going to pause these. We don't need additional beavers right this second. We will later. But I'm going to keep those paused. I'd rather save our berries because remember, it's going to be another 18 days before we have any more berries, and we don't need to keep feeding these pods. So, knowing that, we have another 3 days, and the drought could be, well, what was it, a 10 cycle run up? Yeah. Yeah, it's a 10 cycle run up, but it's probably, drought could be in the 50s, 40s, 50s. I shouldn't take anybody off of pumping. And since it's a drought and not a bad tide, this is no longer of enormous concern here or here. Fingers on the correct buttons would help. But building this here, these four, and not anything on top, will give us a limited quantity of additional water from which to pump, which we probably would have to do almost immediately. And it's also no longer that important to start logging here, but I guess that's fine. These four here, again, will give us a pretty decent quantity of water. This is already, this is its own thing. We're going to have all sorts of construction to do during the drought itself. But having this set up as water that is not going to be contaminated, folks, we're going to be fine on water, I think, with 22 beavers for, well, not any length of drought, but enough. Enough. So, as long as we can keep the crops irrigated, it doesn't really matter. But we do have to do it, you know? Just a whole thing. Now, in 3 days, if we manage to get these done, and if I can manage, actually, tell you what, has this one paused? This is too far because they can't reach through here because this isn't. Okay, now this should no longer be too far, I think. Unless, because there is something physically in the way, it doesn't want to let them come through. Have they actually started placing anything here? No. Okay. Now, what do you mean this is still in the way? They can absolutely reach up through this. They absolutely should be able to reach this. There's no reason they should not be able to reach up to build that. Okay, well that's a bit of a letdown. By a bit of a letdown, I mean definitely a letdown. Ah. Alright, well I guess I've made mistakes. What I was gonna say is 3 days, the most important construction project we could do would be to expand this widthwise, which would end up being here and here, and then this next level. Do I think they could do it in 4 days, 3 days? No. But it would be worth a shot. Even just these four. So that's going to be a thing, that's going to be a thing, that's going to be... What do you mean it's too far to reach? Get out of here, you... Like, did I do something wrong? Like, how is this... How is this too far from a district center? It's got to be the stairs in front of it. But no, that one still says it's too far. How? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client pleads insanity. It's because the stairs aren't done. Oh, no. Of course. Of course, it's the stairs. Do I not have anybody in here? No, I do. Oh, man. And we're not even processing food. If we start eating these berries, we're in some deep stuff. All right. Fine. I'm going to pause 3 more pumps just so we can have beavers in here working on stuff. Oh, jeez. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right. We got Soul here planting for us. Maybe. Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Oh, okay, you're planting berries there. Okay, that's fine. That was always allowed. Okay, how are we looking on construction land over here? Alright, now I just need the planks. Where are my planks? No, 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 no. Shebang. No. No. Oh, you're hungry. Okay, well, stop that, but I understand. Wait, where are you going? Oh, they're going all the way up here for the food. Of course they are. Somebody made a choice that these had to be all the way up there. Well, that certainly was a choice. This is going to be such a frustrating episode. For you to watch and for me to record. Because, man. It's hard. It's hard. That doesn't mean I can't make it harder on myself just by being stupid. But it definitely is hard. Man, I need these planks. I need those 4 planks. It's less of an issue now because it's only a drought, not a bad tide, but I will need to put a floodgate here. Oh, they're building the fluid dump first. Well, that's not a priority for right now. We can leave that paused. Maybe that's why some of that happened. Well. Anyway. You know, we'll just do it. Don't build this first. Stop that. Stop that. Build underneath. Oh, I paused that. That was absolutely my fault. Here I go yelling again. These dumb beavers. All right, 2 days left. 2 days left until we get our drought. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's probably going to be long. Probably going to be completely insane. But hey, we have food growing, and we have 1,300 water stored. We have beavers, you know, still pumping. These guys are halfway through, so I think they're going to get reloaded with berries one more time. We still have 57 left. We just have to, you know, not eat those. That's set to harvest priority. That's set to harvest priority. That's set to planting priority. Not worried about these. Just worried about having enough. Okay. This is built. Good. Good. Again, I don't think it's going to end up being a thing, but we get this levee in place. This levee in place. This levee in place. Even just that is going to be a huge help to have this much more water stored back here. All we can do now is just wait. That's all we can do. Just do whatever we can, whenever we can do it. And then during the drought, we have plenty of time to mess with getting metal situated, so on and so forth, whatever your pleasure may be. Too bad we couldn't make this work, but again, this specific thing with the levees and the draining water source would have required just way too much logistics to figure out to a satisfactory enough degree to use this as a big reservoir, but we can work on that. We can, in fact, work on that. Alright, so this one here, and 0.4 days left. Could be worse. Could be so much worse. In fact, no. You know what? I hope you went and got your snack, because now we're working 24 hours. We have to get this one levee at least this one levee finished. It is now the most important thing you have ever done in your life. No, stop it. Stop it. Ego. Stop it. Build this. Build this one instead. Come on. Come on. Somebody come finish this. No, not that one. Not that one. No. 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 Come. Look at this. It's 92%. Where are you? Okay, who's working as a builder? Where are you going? You're carrying logs? No, you should be building. Stop that. We are about to be out of water. This is not a time for jokes. Not a time for jokes. Oh. 18 days. 18 days. How in the world did we get away with only having an 18-day drought? You can't keep getting away with this. Wow. 18 days. 18 days. You know what? I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad about them not building this. Because now, 18-day drought, we might actually be able to make some decent headway without freaking out about water. I mean, I know we only have 1,400 stored up, which is, for 10 beavers, is, what? I can't even do math in my head anymore. Oh, 50 days, and I got 20 beavers, so that's 25-ish. Math is probably completely wrong. I don't care. Somehow, we've been gifted with the opportunity, thanks to RNG, to somehow live to fight another day. We got an 18-day drought. We have 1,400 water in the bank. The food situation, we gotta keep working on that. But in 18 days, first of all, these floodgates are absolutely getting raised immediately to the highest possible amount, which is 1.0. Because we do still have a little bit of water coming down from here, and if this can just be absolutely as high as possible before we get to the end of the water up here, then wait a second. I blocked it off. I blocked it off because of course I did. Well, alright. So remember how proud I was that this existed? It's probably going to have to come down. I can get the water down here. Okay, alright. So, now that we know it's not like ultra crisis mode, take everybody out of the pumps. Finally, take it out of the pumps. And we can get all hands on deck for food processing. Because we absolutely have to. Absolutely have to. So we have water here that we can emergency release. We're no longer pumping here. Go ahead and lower this all the way down. Let that little pool fill up. Raise that all the way up. That is now protected from pumping. This does need to go ahead and... Oh, they planted all those. Nice. Go ahead and put the floodgate in. That is now priority numero uno to get that built. And I think... How many... I mean, I got 8 open jobs, but I'm pretty sure that's just because of the hauling post and maybe 1 or 2 other things. Okay, Forester, no longer working. These gatherer flags are no longer working because there's nothing to gather from the flags. So now I've got 7, which includes all 6 of these. And you know what? We're not cavemen. We have technology. Wow, I have 19 pumps. Who built all those pumps? Looks like the fermenter is not filled, which is certainly a choice. How far along are these? Okay, we are going to pause these breeding pods when they get to the end. Wait, no, we're not. We're going to let them keep going. We're going to let them keep going because it's only an 18-day drought. It's only an 18-day drought. Food is going to be fine, most likely. Now I've got to make a choice about building this here. Because we definitely do need to have a larger dam, ideally with minimal wood usage, if possible. But, oh man, there's so many choices to be made. We don't even have to touch this. Not for a while. Not for a while. Because, remember, we're going to build this diversion thing, but now it's at least 25 days away. Having to worry about that, so we can put that on the back burner a little bit. We have to probably focus mostly on food. Oh, they're still on 24-hour days. Oops. Yeah, let's fix that. Probably focus mostly on food. I think we can definitely continue replacing these small tanks with the medium tanks. I don't have metal yet, or else we could do the large ones. But that would certainly help. So I'll tell you what we can do. This is empty. Yeah, I'm just going to start emptying these. I know we don't have haulers working right now anyway, but we definitely want to start emptying these things out and storing in the larger ones. Science currently is not an issue that needs immediate solving. But I think before we get too far, we're going to want to get those taller floodgates. I know I do have the single floodgates. But again, that is something we can handle a little bit later. It's probably going to be smarter for us to use our science to get into the metal processing bit. Okay, these are about to pop some more out. That's fine. I'm just honestly so surprised it only threw 18 days at us. Because I expected it to just keep getting longer and longer. I really don't know what to say. Well, because now it's going to be too long for me to do this all in one video. So we're going to have to wrap it up in the next couple of minutes, most likely. But wowee. Wowee, folks. And I'm sitting here looking at my notes. You guys left a lot of comments on the last video. And I do read all of them. I always read every single comment. But you guys, in this series especially, do not agree with each other on almost anything. So I know no matter what I do, there's probably going to be about half of you are going to be at least somewhere on the range of mildly irritated to extremely frustrated that I'm not doing what you're telling me to do. Like, I can't do everything. I literally can't. It's just impossible. But I do always appreciate your input. And I do genuinely take it into account. I'm trying my best to try to find the best middle ground between what people are wanting me to do, without it being something that is just going to be completely stupid. So I do think that probably right about now is going to be the best time to go ahead and end this episode so we can focus next time on tackling the drought head-on. Apply directly to the forehead. Why are we hungry and thirsty? We have... Okay. Why do we even bother looking at the rest of this well-being? But yeah, I hesitate to just end it now because I know this is a Saturday episode. We're really hoping for a super long one. But I got other stuff I gotta do. Been super busy. And I unfortunately don't have time to record an hour-and-a-half episode today. So I am going to go ahead and cut this one here. Again, thanks very much for your support, for your feedback and your comments and your ideas. I really do genuinely appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to watch these videos and give me feedback. Because it's a Let's Play, not a Watch Me Play. I always want to have the feedback. Just keep in mind, I literally can't do everything. So some of you are going to be disappointed every episode because I can't do everything everybody suggests. But I do thank you for being here, for contributing, for being part of this. Beard Boosters also for directly financing, funding, supporting, whatever you want to call it. The insanity of the 100-day drought and bad tide series. So thanks to this 18-day drought, we're going to almost certainly survive Cycle 5. Famous last words. And live to see what Cycle 6 holds for us. But yeah, again, like I said, I got to cut it here. I got other stuff I got to go do. But I'm very thankful we get to spend this time together. Don't forget about the community survey. It's in the community tab on my channel. It does have a pretty decent number of questions on it, but it really helps me get an idea of where the community stands on different stuff like video subjects, future ideas, what time zone you're in, so I can try to plan live streams so that most people are able to attend. Because I think live streams are a whole lot of fun, and everybody should have the opportunity to. Even if they don't necessarily want to, it should be made available for them to make that choice, instead of just, oh, I'm only going to stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, well, the people in Eastern Europe aren't going to be able to watch, are they? Because it's going to be 2 a.m. People have lives. That being said, I know there are some of you who still tune into those, and I'm very glad you do, but please do not miss work, school, or family obligations to watch some guy in the United States play a beaver game on the internet. I promise you there's more to life than that, but I am very glad to have you when you decide that you have time to tune in. All that being said, we're going to go ahead and end today. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you back in this series on Monday, and we have plenty more coming in... Actually, no, Tuesday. Why did I say Monday? Monday's the other series with the... well, it's also the Iron Teeth. It's the... my brain fails me. The one with the blue colors behind the numbers on the thumbnails. Yep. My brain's fried. It's time to end. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.